Hi, I'm Carl Azuz, broadcasting from the CNN Center to viewers worldwide. We're happy to have you watching. We start today between the Indian and Pacific Oceans. Sulawesi is an island of Indonesia whose northwest region was hit hard by an earthquake and tsunami last week. In total, the disaster left at least 70,000 people homeless, and it killed more than 1,400, though that number is expected to increase as rescuers comb through the rubble. According to the Red Cross, one village near the quake's epicenter was obliterated. Locals say the ground turned to liquid during the disaster, with homes collapsing into the mud. And to give you a sense of how volatile that ground still is, an ongoing volcanic eruption on Sulawesi seemed to increase in intensity after the quake hit. Indonesian President Joko Widodo, who visited the affected area earlier this week, says that basic services have to be restored before rebuilding can be a priority. Deliveries of supplies, everything from water and clothes to gasoline, are coming in by sea to places that are inaccessible by land. One aid worker says the survivors have lost relatives, homes, and livelihoods. They can't be allowed to lose hope. Many of them are lining up to catch a boat or a plane to parts of their island country that are still intact.
Well, nearly a week after that earthquake and the tsunami that followed, there are still signs of damage everywhere in Palu. We are at the airport right now, and you can see this part of the ceiling fell down onto the ground here. No one's even made an attempt to clean that up, and how you get back to normal when things like that still exist, well, it doesn't really work like that. The more interesting thing to me, however, is how many people are still trying to get out of the city. You would think, well, maybe a week on, people would be trying to come back in and maybe try and get back to normal, at least start that process, but that's not the case. People here, like these people behind me, camping out at the airport for days now, trying to get on a military flight that will evacuate them elsewhere in Indonesia. The military says it's flying more of those planes than ever. They're flying those big Hercules aircraft that can take hundreds of people at a time. They say they're evacuating thousands of people a day, trying to meet the response of a people that are quite frustrated with what they call the slow response of the Indonesian government. We also saw evacuees get on board an Indonesian Navy ship earlier today. 250 or so people got on a ship bound for 500 miles south towards a different city, and so there are evacuations taking place in multiple different ways. Yes, aid is increasing. More fuel is coming into the city. Food, water is also increasing. We have seen more heavy equipment trying to clear some of the rubble in these streets, but there is still a very long way to go for Indonesia's government to get these people back to some slice of normalcy. And in the meantime, you've got people like these folks behind me here trying to pass the time, watching TV on their cell phones, waiting, hoping to get on the next government flight out of town. I'm Matt Rivers, CNN, at the Palu Airport, Indonesia.
10-second trivia. Which of these internet companies was founded first? Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube? Founded in 2004 as thefacebook.com, Facebook is the oldest company on this list. Facebook is trying to figure out how to deal with its worst hack ever. The company says a security issue has affected almost 50 million accounts. Facebook's engineers first noticed something unusual on September 16th. It took them 11 days after that to stop it. The hack involved a vulnerability in Facebook's code, something in the site's View As feature, which lets users see what their Facebook profile looks like to someone else. It allowed hackers to steal digital keys that could be used to take over people's accounts. What has Facebook done about it? It's temporarily shut down the View As feature, and it's reset the digital keys of the nearly 50 million accounts affected, plus 40 million additional accounts. What we don't know is what the hackers wanted, how long they had access to people's information, and whether they took any of it. Best case scenario, the hackers might not have realized what they did, they might not have actually stolen any info, or if they did, they don't plan to do anything with it. Worst case scenario, they could use the info to blackmail people, they could post users' private messages and pictures online for the world to see, or they could use the information to try to influence events like future elections. Again, experts don't know what or if there'll be consequences to the hack. More news from the technological world involves something called mixed reality. As the name suggests, it involves taking what's physically around you and then adding the appearance of something that's not. It could be a digital character or a hologram. It could be new kitchen appliances in the empty space of an unfinished house. What could this future look like?
Inside the world's oldest working film studio, a new generation of digital characters, like this guy, are coming to life.
I don't know who to relate to right now. I mean, you're looking great, I have to say. You're looking
bulked up a
fantastic. Yeah, you've done the work.
Who is this guy?
This is a character called Grishnak. He is a bit of a digital no-hoper, basically. He was a piece of concept artwork that never made the grade.
Actor Andy Serkis is a motion capture superstar, known for his roles in Lord of the Rings and Planet of the Apes.
Do not come back.
Now he and his team are creating custom creatures for a new medium, mixed reality.
It's really the beginning of a whole new realm of storytelling.
First came virtual reality, immersing you in a digital environment. Then augmented reality, like Pokemon Go, projecting digital objects onto the real world. In mixed reality, digital constructs like Grishnak anchor themselves in the real world. Okay, so now there's that character right there on the table. His feet are right there on the table. American startup Magic Leap is developing headsets that allow you to see the world in this mixed reality.
This character is aware of the world, can interact with the world, but he's also, more importantly, aware of you, where you're looking, and he can interact with you.
So right now the goggles are processing that I'm stepping back. That's all being calculated into what's happening?
Absolutely. The little cameras inside there that are reading your eyes.
Magic Leap, backed by billions from investors like Google, JP Morgan, and CNN parent company AT&T, envisions a future where instead of looking down at your phone, your mixed reality glasses, and one day a contact lens, will project tools like Google Maps on the road in front of you. How far away are we from that?
From that version of what we're doing, that's on our roadmap. I mean, honestly...
10 years, 20 years?
No, I think a step change of 2, 3, 5, 10 years.
For now, virtual, augmented, and mixed reality headsets are still bulky and pricey. Magic Leaps cost more than $2,000 and took 8 years to develop.
It's a big task. You know it's only going to get better.
Giving Serkis plenty of time to let his imagination run wild.
Put some energy into it. Bring up the fear in him. You're panicking. And you can say things, oh my God, I'm gonna get out of here.
I'll leave that to you. Samuel Burke, CNN, London.
Researchers say they've made a new dino-scovery. From fossils unearthed in the eastern part of South Africa, they've put together a picture of a sauropod relative that's been given the name Ledumahadi mafubi. That translates to a giant thunderclap at dawn. And if that sounds like a lot, they believe this animal was a lot. The biggest creature on Earth when it roamed, twice the size of a modern-day elephant. Of course, to facilitate their research, they have to explore many sauropod abilities. And make no bones about it, y'all, not everyone can velociraptor their mind around something that triceratops other species in size. It almost wrecks the imagination. I'm Carl Azuz for CNN 10. We're glad you Allosaurus today. Friday's Archaeopter awesome.